They preach hope, perform miracles, and move crowds to tears. Their churches are bigger than arenas. Their influence stretches beyond the pulpit. And their lifestyles. Well, let's just say, faith comes with a first-class ticket. Are they men of God or masters of the game? This is the rise of Kenya's mega pastors, where power, faith, and fortune collide. It all started in 1498 when Vasco da Gama and his crew landed on the shores of Mombasa. Along with their swords and sea legs, they brought Roman Catholic missionaries. The plan? Spread Christianity. The reality? The missionaries left faster than you can say, "This isn't working." In 1567, the Portuguese tried again, this time building a fancy Augustinian monastery in Mombasa. They even converted a few locals, but their efforts were, let's say, not exactly groundbreaking. When Arab forces showed up, the Portuguese influence disappeared quicker. Fast forward to 1844 and enter Johann Ludwig Krapf, a German missionary with the determination of a marathon runner and the patience of a saint, literally. Krapf wasn't here for a quick sermon and a ship ride home. Oh no. He rolled up his sleeves, learned local languages, and started translating the Bible into Swahili and Kikuyu. If multitasking were a sport, Krapf would have won gold. Krapf's work inspired others like Johann Rebmann, his equally dedicated colleague. The two were like the Batman and Robin of early Kenyan missions, braving harsh conditions and skepticism. They even described Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro in their journals, though locals likely gave them a side-eye for making such a fuss about mountains they'd seen their whole lives. By the late 19th century, British colonial rule made life a bit easier for missionaries. Roads were built and travel became safer, though let's not pretend they were cruising in Land Rovers.
Colonialism came with the British here, and a lot of exposure we got it through them. So maybe they opened inroads for other missionaries to come from anywhere as you are growing and developing.
Anglicans, Methodists, Presbyterians, and Catholics showed up, each vying to spread their version of the gospel. If there had been a Best Missionary Award, the competition would have been fierce. During the colonial period, Christianity in Kenya flourished, but not without controversy, as many saw the church closely tied to colonial authorities, making sermons on humility seem ironic. Despite the tension, missionaries brought transformative change, establishing schools that taught locals to read and hospitals that introduced modern medicine, though grandma's herbal teas remained a trusted remedy. After independence in 1963, Christianity embraced local traditions through African independent churches, blending hymns with drums and sermons with proverbs, creating a uniquely Kenyan faith. Today, with over 85% of Kenyans identifying as Christians, the religion thrives in diverse forms, blending old and new, and continues to grow rapidly across Africa, shaping lives and communities in extraordinary ways. In Kenya, church isn't just a Sunday affair. It's a movement, a spectacle, and for many, a second home. From packed auditoriums with state-of-the-art sound systems to massive outreach programs that touch lives far beyond the pulpit, Kenya's mega churches are more than places of worship. They are institutions of power, influence, and, let's be honest, a little bit of flair. Here are some of the most prominent mega churches in Kenya. Christ is the Answer Ministries, CTAM, the powerhouse. Back in 1952, when CTAM first set up shop, no one could have predicted it would grow into one of Kenya's most influential churches. With over 45,000 congregants spread across more than 25 assemblies.
Together in Generosity is a campaign by CTAM, raising 2.5 billion shillings in 2 years to settle 24 assemblies in their own land and permanent structures.
CTAM is more than just a church, it's an empire. It runs PAC University, CTAM schools, and a media powerhouse that includes Hope TV and Hope FM. If that wasn't enough, in 2022, CTAM reported an income of 2.89 billion Kenya shillings, proving that faith and financial success can go hand in hand. Mavuno Church, the cool church. If CTAM is the old guard, Mavuno is the trendsetter. With a contemporary approach to ministry, it has attracted a younger, urban crowd looking for faith with a side of entrepreneurship and social justice. Here, you're just as likely to hear a sermon on financial literacy as you are about spiritual growth. Their services are dynamic, their outreach is bold, and their mission is clear. Raise fearless influencers who will transform society. 3. Nairobi Chapel, the urban ministry. Nairobi Chapel started as a small, quiet church, but quickly evolved into a spiritual giant. Its focus on youth and urban ministries has made it a favorite among young professionals. The church has multiple satellite locations and an engaging worship style that blends modern-day struggles with biblical wisdom. Think TED Talks, but with a lot more amens. 4. Kingdom Seekers Church, the worship powerhouse. Nestled in Nakuru City, Kingdom Seekers Church is where faith meets passion. Led by Kimani William, this church is known for its powerful worship sessions that can last for hours. Seriously, bring water and snacks. But beyond the music, the church is deeply involved in community outreach programs that aim to uplift the underprivileged. 5. Winners Chapel, the giant arena. Ever heard of a church with a 12,000 seat capacity? That's Winners Chapel for you. Part of the Global Living Faith Church network, founded by Nigerian preacher David Oyedepo. This church pulls massive crowds with its charismatic teachings, miracle-packed services, and a strong message of prosperity. Whether you're looking for healing, financial breakthrough, or just a front-row seat to some intense preaching, Winners Chapel delivers. If you're looking for a no-nonsense approach to faith, this is the place to be. More than just churches. These mega churches are not just places of worship, they are cultural, economic, and social powerhouses. From running schools and universities to influencing politics and shaping media narratives, they play a significant role in Kenya's social fabric. Love them or question them, one thing is clear. Kenya's mega churches aren't just growing, they're reshaping the landscape of faith. And if the past is anything to go by, they're only getting bigger. After all, in Kenya, faith doesn't do small, it does mega. Every Sunday in Kenya, thousands of people gather in huge churches, singing, praying, and giving offerings. At the center of it all are the mega pastors, powerful leaders with big followings, big churches, and sometimes big bank accounts. These pastors don't just talk about prosperity, they live it. With expensive cars, fancy suits, and even security teams, some of them look more like business tycoons than preachers. Some say they are truly called by God, while others believe they are just good at collecting money.
Sikuwa na pesa ndio maana nikaanza na kuitisha 310. Sema panda mbegu ya 310 na tusibishane. Si kutaka kuwa umaskini ulikuwa umenitandika sawa sawa, lakini nilikuwa na anointing.
Either way, they know how to keep people listening. Bishop Allen and Reverend Kathy Kiuna, the power couple. If faith had celebrities, Bishop Allen Kiuna and Rev Kathy Kiuna of a Jubilee Christian Church, JCC, would be at the top. They preach about success, wealth, and living a good life. And their followers believe in their message. Dressed in designer clothes and driving luxury cars, the Kiunas show that they practice what they preach. Their church is modern, stylish, and attracts successful business people. Critics say their message is more about money than faith, but their followers love them. After all, who says pastors have to be poor? Then we have Prophet Dr. David Owo, a man like no other. With his long beard, deep voice, and serious warnings about the end of the world, he has gained a huge following. Unlike other pastors, Owo does not wear fancy suits or drive flashy cars. Instead, his followers wear white robes and follow him everywhere. His sermons often predict disasters, and when something bad happens, his followers say, "The prophet warned us."
Time is over. I am announcing from Jerusalem now. Time is over.
Some people believe he is a true prophet, while others think he just knows how to make people afraid. Rev Lucy Natasha, the Instagram pastor. If Jesus had social media, Rev Lucy Natasha would be on his followers' list. With a strong online presence, designer handbags, and a fleet of high-end cars, she is one of the most stylish pastors in Kenya.
It is my time and turn to testify.
Her church is modern, and her sermons focus on faith, success, and confidence.
Starting today, I hear the Lord say, the Lord will remember you and visit you this week in the name of Jesus. I hear the Lord say, it is your time and your turn to testify.
She posts professional photos of herself on Instagram, always looking flawless. Some say she is more of a brand than a preacher, but her followers don't mind. To them, she is proof that you can love God and still live a good life.
Mindo pastor. Where do you pastor? Yeah. Una Mininganga. Mininganga wao. Oh, where Ninganga?
If you want a church service that feels like a reality TV show, Apostle James Nganga of Neno Evangelism Center is your guy.
Mke wangu, I'm not going to serve with you. Kama mke wako hata heshimu mke wangu, na mmekuja kwangu na matuta. Mmekuja kwangu na matuta, useless people. Takataka. Lavish. Hakuna kitu mnaweza kuniambia mimi, watu wa neno, mimi ndiye neno.
Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, the preacher politician.
And made a deal with God. I'm getting saved not only to come to heaven, but also to preach the gospel. I will serve you. That was my turning point now.
Bishop Margaret Wanjiru is not just a pastor, she is also a...
Sad, very sad that this is the government that we campaigned for. I'm yet to believe that they can do this to me.
As the founder of Jesus is Alive Ministries, she has thousands of followers, but she has also spent years in politics, proving that she can lead both churches and governments. She once said, "Politics needs prayers." And she made sure she was there to provide both. Whether on the church stage or the political stage, Wanjiru speaks with power and confidence. Love her or not, she is one of Kenya's most famous pastors. Faith, fame, and a little drama. Kenya's mega pastors are more than just religious leaders. Give, and you shall receive. Sow your seed, and God will bless you. It is a message of hope, a promise of financial breakthrough for those who give. But while the congregation waits for their miracle, the pastors are already reaping the benefits. They call it a blessing, proof that God rewards his chosen servants. But is it really divine favor, or is faith becoming a business? Every Sunday, millions of shillings flow into the offering baskets. Faithful givers contribute their hard-earned money, believing it will go toward church work, charity, and helping those in need. But behind the scenes, where does this money really go? Pastors are acquiring properties, building multi-billion shilling churches, and even investing in businesses. Meanwhile, many of their followers can't afford school fees or medical care. For some pastors, the prosperity gospel is more than just a sermon. It's a business model. Private jets, multi-million-dollar homes, international conferences in five-star hotels. This is the reality of Kenya's most powerful church leaders. So we ask, should men of God live in luxury while their flock suffers? Is prosperity a sign of divine favor, or has the church become a marketplace? The congregation prays for miracles while the pastors live in them. The faithful give in hope while the leaders take in abundance. In a world where faith meets fortune, the question remains, who is truly being saved?